Welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I'm the Couch Warrior, and you're watching The Passage, Skyrim SE Let's Play featuring Ettient Jorel, the Altmer Ranger. Welcome back to the story, everybody. Or, if I'm truly being accurate, it's welcome back to the story, Couch Warrior. It has been a few days since I produced an episode. I apologize for that. There were some technical difficulties. I recorded the equivalent of 3 episodes at the wrong resolution because I forgot to change my settings back after a live stream. So, where are you going? That's awesome. Oh my gosh. What the hell's going on? Okay, come on. Ooh, mage. Mage first. Gotcha. Okay. Well, we had one bandit who was practicing a levitation spell. Obviously, that's what was going on. And was powerful enough that he was levitating a mammoth. I think that's saying something, right? You know what? It's not like we have a ton of these ebony arrows left, right? We better go to Elven if we're going to duke it out with bandits. Where are we going here? Done. Come on, bring it on. Let's go. Mage. Now, this isn't the first time, obviously, that Ettient has cleared this area. Get her arrow back, that's good. Nothing else awe-inspiring, though. However, this does potentially present us with a good opportunity, which would be to get up here and use the smithing stuff. We need some more arrows. If you remember from the last episode, Ettient is on his way to Ustengrav. We don't know what we're going to encounter there. Best to be prepared. And we are running dangerously low on ammo. Lockpicks are good. Oh, that tricorn hat. Boy. Taking it. Taking the tricorn. Why not? It's an interesting item. Okay. Dwarven arrows. Oh, no. Not really. We've graduated to much better arrows. Alright, we did it. Well, that was pretty efficient. Anything new in here? Oh yeah, they restocked. Okay, Scroll of Shroud Walk. You are invisible for 90 seconds. When performing an action that breaks invisibility, you immediately regain invisibility for up to 5 times. Ooh, that's cool. Ring of Deft Hands. Pickpockets, 23% chance higher. That's good. Major Sure Grip. Eh. Orcish Bow Fragments. Eh. I'll take it. Alright. Alright. The Luna enchant. That's something we already have. So, I guess, you know, well, we better take a look here to see if we're actually able to make some arrows. There's quite a few ingredients required to make arrows at ebony. So what are we short? Firewood, of course. Firewood. And I don't recall if firewood is available here. I feel like it's not. I don't remember seeing a chopping block here, but maybe there's one down in the lower camp. If not, we may just have to move on. We've got at least enough materials to build a couple batches of arrows, provided we can get our hands on some firewood. Really would rather not go into Ustengrav with only 13 ebony arrows if we can help it. There just really isn't a chopping block here, is there? And it really needs to be quality split wood. We can't make arrows out of deadfall and, you know, stuff like that, so we need to get the good stuff. All right. Well, I don't think we're going to find a chopping block here. Okay. We offed another one around here, too. Was the archer. That must have been the mage. Oh, it was the one we picked out of the sky. Right over here. That was interesting. Oh, yeah. She was the one practicing her levitation spell. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Well, it was a good thought, but we're just a little bit short on the stuff that we need to get the job done. Okay. So, I don't know, a couple interesting things to point out. Once again, we are marching toward the end of Book 1 in Etienne's story. And following Book 1 in Etienne's story, we are going to proceed into a new story called Ashes. We've talked about this previously. There's some new material out there if you're interested in learning more about Ashes. One is that we did a live stream where I answered a number of questions about the story design, and character development. I may have announced this already. I took all the audio from that discussion because there wasn't really much going on in terms of video. Okay, hang on. Hey, big boy. Easy now. Easy now. Come on, Garm. Give him his space. Garm. Oh, it's coming from that one. I edited that all down and made it into a podcast. If you're interested in listening to that, you can go and check out Character Crusade Podcast on SoundCloud. It is about 45 minutes of Q&A about Ashes. I've answered a lot of questions having to do with sort of the preliminary aspects of story and character development. So if you're interested in that, check it out on SoundCloud. The other thing that I did is, and this is something that we talk about frequently in the podcast, when we talk about character background. Hang on, getting a drink. We often talk about writing down your thoughts, recording your thoughts in terms of character background, and the background of a character is just one aspect of the things that are good to know about a character going into the game so that you can make decisions from the character's perspective. This is the basis of role play, right? But there are a lot of different ways to create a character background, a lot of different styles a person could write a background in. And one of the things that I talk about a lot on the podcast is my style of character background, which is by doing a series of what I call vignettes. Rather than doing an exhaustive character background where you lay out everything that's happened to the character since day one, you just put down some basics. But you communicate who the character is from a personality perspective. Wow, I killed them. You communicate who the character is from a personality perspective by creating these little things I call vignettes, which is a snapshot in time of a character interacting with another character. It could be a complete stranger, a friend, a family member, and the vignette is put together, either written down or recorded, kind of as dialogue. And what I have found is that dialogue can tell us more about who a character is personality-wise than any sort of written history. So what I did is I recorded a vignette. It's an interview with our protagonist for Ashes. His name is MARL. It's an interview with him, and you get to kind of sit in on the interview and listen to it. It's not like a breaking the fourth wall type of interview, right? Where we're, sort of pretending to be modern interviewers talking to our protagonist. It's actually an interview told in the context of events that happen to our character before the events of the story begin. So it serves multiple purposes. One, gotcha. One is that it gives us it gives us a kind of a cool snapshot of who MARL is, personality-wise. It lets us hear his voice and what he sounds like. It tells us a lot about his interactions with others, his attitude about the world, and his compatriots or his peers within House Telvanni. It just tells us a whole ton about his personality and fills us in on a little tiny bit of his story, of the things that are going on with MARL prior to the story beginning. He's not moving. Finish him. Okay, we're gonna go check it out, just on the off chance that we can recover some arrows. Ah, got them both. And a pelt. So, it's a perfect example of what I consider to be a vignette. I love the idea of learning about who a character is from a personality perspective through a little bit of dialogue and interaction with other people. So, that's what that is. If you want to listen to that, you can catch that also on SoundCloud. It is in the main playlist on SoundCloud, along with all of our other Character Crusade podcasts, and it's just called An Interview with MARL. So if you want to check it out, it is out there. You can also find it linked from the website, charactercrusade.com. You'll find it linked right on the homepage. It says Interview with MARL. Has a great photograph or a picture of MARL's face, so you can get a sense for what he really looks like now, because I was a little bit cagey about that in the trailer for the series. If you've watched my tutorial on console commands, you would have seen more of MARL, because I actually used him as the subject of that whole exercise, right? But okay, this is a danger zone. I want to take a look at, make sure we got our instincts selected here. Let's take a moment. Hey girl, it's quiet. It's too quiet, man. So if you're interested in MARL's personality, if you've been curious and you're interested in hearing how I plan to voice him, you can check that out. Find it at the website, charactercrusade.com, or go directly to SoundCloud and check out our page there. The other reason that I do this is just from sort of an artistic and production perspective. As a role player and someone who's planning to voice this character. Who is this? Another afflicted. I need to know what MARL's voice sounds like. I need to know that I can channel his voice if I need to. And so doing something like this vignette is extremely helpful. I can write up a little dialogue scenario, and then I can record it several times over until I feel like I've captured the essence of who the character is. And then that file sort of becomes a little snapshot for me, and I can refer back to that if I'm ever feeling like I'm having trouble dialing it in or missing something, right? I can go back and refer to that file and refresh my memory and say, oh, yes, I can find Marl's voice again because, you know, voicing a character and being able to do it naturally and fluidly and all of that stuff, it's not an easy thing. Depends on a lot on the specifics of the style of voice that I'm going after. But in Marl's case, that's extremely helpful. So, okay, so let's do a time check here. Headed to Oostengrav. It's already 8 p.m. I think it's time for us to pitch camp. This ruin, I think, is a pretty good reference point. Let's get familiar with it here. Kenstag Ruin. All right. Let's get in out of the wind here for a minute. Ah, look at this. So anyway, that file gives you some insight not only into the character, but I guess a little bit of insight into how my crazy process works, especially with characters that I plan on voicing. I didn't go through a process like that with Ettient. And, you know, all characters start from a different place. Ettient started with, I think, a concept, you know, a character concept, the idea of this, you know, dichotomy of a high elf dragonborn, that kind of thing. I really liked that whole idea. So that's kind of where Ettient started. Whereas I would say that MARL, in some respects, I guess you could say, before people started really saying they wanted me to play a mage, I had already kind of 90%, I would say, made up my mind that I was going to attempt a mage anyway. So, MARL as a character has really been driven by personality rather than concept. So I knew the type of character that I wanted to play from a personality perspective. It was just a matter of figuring out, you know, what kind of mage he would be and how that fit with the personality that I wanted to play. So that's been an interesting deal. Okay, you sit here, girl. All right, I think we're going to have to build a fire. It's pretty cold out here. So go to resourcefulness. Let's find some dead wood. Let's get a fair amount of it. We're going to do a roaring fire if possible. That will not be enough for a roaring fire, so we're going to do it again. All right. Okay. So, what's next? Build a campfire. So, I think we want it reasonably close to our tent. Like, maybe here. Looks pretty good. Okay, let's get this thing going. Get some warmth. Add our kindling. Linen fire starter. I think it might be also good for us to consider going hunting here. We're seriously low on protein in our diet right now. So, I think that'd be a good idea. Flickering campfire. Yes. And a crackling one. Sure. Okay. So, a roaring campfire with dead wood requires 6. We've got 4. We're definitely doing a roaring fire tonight, I think. Let's place our cooking pot. So, we need to go gather up a bit more dead wood. Let's look over here. Of course, it's nice now because we're in a position for Ettient to pursue his own goals for the time being. Not something that has happened before. So, well, often, anyway. Okay. Upgrade this fire. Roaring. Yeah. Excellent. Now, that's going to last a long time. That should still be rolling when we wake up. Let's do a time check. Wow. 11 p.m. It's late. Late to be hunting and cooking, but it is what it is. Okay, so again, let's go back to our instincts power. Like to stay as close to camp as possible. But hunting in the dark and in the fog is not easy. Ugh, virtually impossible. Look at that, it's pea soup. All right, well, we won't wander too far afield. If we don't find something before midnight, we'll make do with what we've got in the backpack. So I've made a couple of much needed technical upgrades in my setup for recording. And you may not have noticed, but in the last couple episodes, I was contending with a few minor audio issues, primarily plosives. So plosives are when you get that blast of air that hits the microphone with a P sound, so pop, 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 that kind of thing. That's a plosive. And normally a plosive is counteracted by a pop filter or something like it. I have pop filters on all the mics that we use in the podcast, and all of those microphones are mounted on stands with shock mounts. And in the past, when I have recorded my Let's Play, I've also used a microphone. I've used basically the same microphone that I personally use during the podcast, which is a stand-mounted Rode Procaster microphone with a pop filter. But I recently got a microphone boom arm, which is brilliant, by the way. It makes things a lot easier. I can swing the mic back and forth. I can get it up off the desk. I don't have to have a mic stand between me and the keyboard anymore. It just really makes my life a lot easier. But attaching my my pop filter to that was not an option. First of all, it didn't mount very well, and second of all, it was so heavy that it made it difficult for me to adjust the boom arm. So I got an inexpensive windscreen, which is the type of filter that fits directly over the mic itself, that is made for this microphone. It's inexpensive. It's less than $20. And so I have that on there now. That should take care of most of the issues we might have with plosives, unless I'm literally shouting into the mic, which I hope I'm not doing. If I'm doing that, something really bad's happening. So you know, that's one thing. That's a positive. And then I also got a much-needed replacement headset. And for me, that's a big deal. I've got, rather than a gaming-style headset, I've got a studio-quality headset now, which has a lot of great features just in terms of being, you know, closed ear and noise canceling and stuff like that. I can get a much better sense of what I'm dealing with when I'm doing editing. So that's a huge deal. That's going to help me a lot, I think. All right, let's get some sleep. 8 hours. Yeah. Always starving. All right, we don't have too much further to go. We got to get through the swamp here, but I didn't want to approach the barrow unrested. Water, bread, apple, cheese. Yeah, we're pretty much a protein-free diet at this point. All right, let's clean this up. Two unspent firewood, that's good. Pack that up. All right. So yeah, just, you know, a few upgrades. I mean, you know, some of this stuff is, I mean, stuff that I've been intending to try to add to my setup for 2 or 3 years in some cases. I've just been kind of making do with a headset that I knew was not ideal for the type of production work I was doing. So now that that piece is done, I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to make a big difference in the way that I produce these. So that's great. Minor upgrades are always good. All right, we got to gather up our dog. Forgot to tell her to follow. She's so literal. Look at her. Defiant Garm. I'm not coming. You gotta talk nice to me or I'm not coming. Please. Okay, let's go. All right. Excuse me. Unfortunately, new equipment like that doesn't stop me from having to clear my throat all the time. Okay, so Ettient is basically... hello. Thank you, my friend, for your sacrifice. It is much appreciated. We'll take the antlers, too. Nothing goes to waste. All right. Here's the shallows here. We'll just scoot across here. So quiet. I've also managed to dial in some other aspects of my recording setup. And, you know, a lot of these things are just procedural types of things. One of them is that, though I've figured out how to do what's called a mix-minus setup for when I'm recording game footage. In other words, I'm wearing my headphones, I can hear the game in my ears, and I can also hear my own voice as I'm speaking into my microphone, which is not something I was able to do before. Before, I had to just record a sample and make sure that I felt like all the levels were good, and then at that point, I was just sort of going on faith. The fortunate thing is that once I dial in all of my settings, I try to keep them there and not mess with it too much. But this just helps to ensure that what I'm producing in terms of audio is the best quality it can be, because it allows me to sort of monitor the mix at all times. This is just a setup issue. This is something where I've had the gear to do it. I just haven't really experimented enough to know how to set it up properly. I finally figured that out too, so that's a big advantage, which I really appreciate. All right, let's take a look, make sure we've got instinct selected, and we do. This is Ustengrav. This is where we need to be. Got to be extra cautious here, though. It's a campfire. It looks deserted, doesn't it? Wait. Look at that. Standing motionless like they're under a spell. Where's the mage? These people were obviously under a spell. The implication, of course, is that there's a mage around running amok. Maybe this was, yeah, this was our necromage right here. That was the second opponent we took out, I believe. No. No, it had to be the third, because the mage did try to resurrect somebody there. All right. That one I don't think I killed. All right, looks clear. All right, girl. All right. This is an Ettient thing. You stay here. Keep a watch on the door. All right. Lots of dead bandits. Let's get into the dark here. get into position here. Not moving. What's with that? Honestly, what it likely is a reaction to our perk selection. We've got some perks, particularly in the stealth tree, that help us out in situations like this. The unfortunate part, of course, is that what's capable through a mod is somewhat limited without a way to extend the script engine with something like SKSE. It turns into, I mean, if you take a stealth perk that says you can do such and so or whatever when you know, you gain some kind of a stealth bonus or whatever, or people can't see you when you approach from a certain angle, the game doesn't really have an elegant way to handle that, and so it kind of manifests in game by people just kind of standing facing a wall even when someone near them gets taken out. Again, these are nuances that can't really be dealt with in some cases using the scripts that are already part of the Skyrim engine, and they require some additional flexibility that comes with using something like SKSE, where you're providing more available scripts or an alternate scripting engine that allows you to do some more sophisticated and interesting things. So I think that's what we're seeing happening there. Oh yeah. It's kind of weird. Ooh, that's a conjured. Wait. Ancestor. What are you? Is one of these a Dunmer? Has to be. Typically, I think an ancestor or whatever would be the construct of a Dunmer mage. Or not even a mage necessarily, but a Dunmer ancestor. They're not aggressive. Well, they are aggressive. Very aggressive. Ow, that hurt. We've seen these before. I don't know if they're charged, but we'll find out. Okay. Empty. Okay, let's have a look around. Histories of Talara. Okay, we're not going to dig around in urns. I think we've kind of established that for the most part, Etienne's not going to do that. Not now anyway. That chests we're okay with. Ettient is really still at that stage where he has a lot to learn about Nord culture. So, in the interest of safety and respect, he's not going to loot the bodies that are interred in a barrel. I will, I think, make a distinction when it comes to Draugr. I mean, if it's a body that's obviously been buried, that's wrapped and stuff like that, then we won't search it. Let it be. If it's in an urn, we'll let it be. If it's an enemy, someone who's attacked us, then taking the spoils seems like less of a problem. All right. Let's go down in here. Wait a second. Coinage. Take that. So I think that Ettient is really driven by a sense of curiosity about his role. What does this Dragonborn thing mean? And, you know, we know at this point that it's not just made up. It's not some kind of a myth. It's not a fairy tale. It's real. That's been confirmed by our ability to take power from dragons. It's been reinforced by the Greybeards and reinforced yet again by our interactions with Miraak. So we know it to be fact. Miraak would not be messing with us if we weren't a threat. And it seems to be that the only way we could conceivably be a threat to someone like Miraak is if we were, you know, at least equal in power. So we have all this evidence in front of us that this Dragonborn thing is the real deal. Where are you? Whoa. Got them all. So, you know, Ettient may be a tough as nails soldier and mercenary, but he can be just as curious as the next person, especially when it has something to do with him and possibly his place in the world. I think when we also consider the idea that Ettient is a person who in some ways has been searching for quite a long time to figure out his place in the world, it stands to reason that this is something that he may pursue relentlessly if he doesn't have any other things standing in between him and his goals. So wow. This place. What? A skeleton? It is. May as well take care of it from here if we can, right? Alright, let's proceed. This place is huge. Can we get a jump on anyone else from here? That's someone right there. Skeleton right there. Feels like it is, but yeah, it was. In that chair. And down. One right there. No, it's my imagination. Okay. Whoa. That was well hidden. I'm lucky that didn't go off. Okay, let's scoot in here. Ebony Bow of Depletion. Wow. Look at that drain. Holy cow. 690 points of charge drained from the target's equipped weapons. Holy cow, that's huge. Filter of lockpicking. Okay. Honestly, I probably didn't need to take that that potion. We just never use potions that have anything to do with lockpicking. Draugr. Is that a Draugr floating there? I feel like we're glitching here like crazy. What would that be? Okay. Alright, I'm going to try a little experiment here. I would expect a certain amount of inactivity from low-level enemies because of just our super high level in stealth, but to not be even moving in patrol patterns seems odd to me. So I'm going to do a quick save here. And let's just reload. All right. See if that made any difference. Oh, it did. Ran right into it. Well, not the smartest of guards, are they? Guess that works to our advantage. Okay, what do we get in here? Okay, there it is. Alright. Ooh. Ebony dagger. We'll take that. Let's see what we can disenchant. Okay, this bow of depletion. Bow of fragments. Apprentice robes of alteration. Okay, smithing, rejuvenation, deft hands. We can disenchant that. Okay. Shed a lot of weight that way. Paralysis poison is good. Alright, let's get a good look around here now. Ooh. That's a deadly drop. Look at that. Word wall. We gotta find our way down there. With each word wall comes new power. I see you. Okay. Roasted Draugr. Ick. Oh. Must be another one up here. Okay. Very good. A lot of troll skulls around here. Silver necklace. There was more than one here, wasn't there? I feel like I killed more than one. I know I did. Bones are all in a big pile, though. Alright, we got some stuff in there. Okay, so I'm going to navigate this now. And we're going to do that by using Whirlwind Sprint. Look down here quick. Just corundum mining. Looks like an alternate way down, I guess. Can we get up? Come on. There we go. All right. So we're going to go back up here. So I think normally what they want you to do here is use Whirlwind Sprint and navigate this stuff, which makes sense. It's sort of like a built-in tutorial. If you really want, you know, the loot bad enough, you'll learn how to use your new shouts. I'm curious if I can actually just make a jump across this first one. Yeah. Save us the recharge time. But here, I don't think I would ever make it. So, let's go to Whirlwind Sprint. Okay, we're just going to aim straight ahead, launch ourselves into that pillar. Okay, now we got to wait for the recharge time. So, much to consider, but I think Ettient right now is on a path to what I would consider to be acceptance. By that I mean acceptance of himself, who he is, and what his role is. Skyrim is likely, you know, and most of its people is likely a place that will never accept him as a normal citizen because of what he is, which is a high elf. There are certain elements of the Nord population that would just never be able to do that. However, it's possible that even these people might be able to accept him as Dragonborn if he can prove himself. And so, in many ways, I think one of his biggest challenges has been coming to terms with whether or not he's interested in proving anything to these people. And in order to want to prove something to them, he has to care. And most of his life, he has spent not caring about anyone. But what we're seeing with him now is that he's starting to care. Become ethereal. Excellent. And caring is kind of a double-edged sword, right? On the one hand, it gives us a certain amount of power because we gain allies and we gain the respect of people around us. Not bad. Not bad, Etienne. But on the other hand, it creates a situation also where we feel a sense of responsibility and obligation. And when we think about Etienne, we really think about it. I mean, he's a guy who has been avoiding responsibility and obligation for years. He doesn't want to be responsible for other people's safety. He doesn't want any of that stuff. But he's been forced into action because his sister was under threat. Now, it's possible, what we know of Etienne, in fact, it's very likely that if it had been anyone else under threat, he may have said, I don't care. Screw it. I don't have any I don't have any interest in this person. They're of no relevance to me, so why would I go out of my way to help this person out or whatever? But the caring that he has for his sister and the efforts that he's made to try and secure her safety have taken him all over Skyrim, and he's met all kinds of different people, and he's made a few friends along the way, a couple. But that's been enough, I think, to teach him that maybe that caring isn't such a bad thing, because when you care about somebody or something, quite often that caring is returned in kind, if you're lucky, you know? And he's seen people showing a genuine interest in him and in his safety and in his situation, and taking steps to try and help him out. I hear you. Ooh. Surprise. And all that's really done is caused him to look at the world differently. But it's enough. It's enough of a difference, I think, that it has started him down this path. You know, once you enter down this path of caring, this stuff snowballs. The more people he helps, the more he begins to sympathize with their plight, the more he begins to care. And the whole thing snowballs. Until eventually you reach the point where you understand that despite the possibility of the pain that it might cause, the caring is worth it. Because the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. So I tend to think that that is where Ettient resides currently. Thinking about all of these issues, you know? I see you. Gotcha. Let's get out of here. Cooked spider meat sounds none too good. Okay, where can we go here? Ooh, there's another one. I see you. Ooh. Can I shoot through this web? No. Bastard. Ooh, I missed. That doesn't help. Missed again. That still doesn't help. Ha-ha! Our ranger has become quite deadly. We took out a Draugr overlord with 2 arrows. 2 elven arrows, mind you. at master difficulty. Although, God forbid we should lose surprise. That would be terrible. Another one. Look at that. There's the plinth. That is probably where the horn is going to be. Okay. Let's do something. This is one of my favorite parts of any Skyrim quest. So, let's preserve the majesty. We'll slow down time a little bit. We'll make the walk Reservoir Dog style. Kind of enjoy the effects. Kind of an amazing effect. Why would the Nords have done it? You know? It's kind of like the assumption is if you've made it this far, if you're not the Dragonborn, you're at least perhaps a worthy warrior? Let's consider the fact, however, that we know that Delphine has been through here before us. Dragonborn, I need to speak to you urgently. Rent the attic room at the Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood, and I'll meet you. A friend. Take. Alright. Back to regular time. That was fun. So, if Delphine has been through before us, presumably these things would be upright. It's unlikely that they go back down after we leave. So, is it possible that the raising of these monuments from under the water is something that only happens in the Dragonborn's presence? Interesting to consider that, actually. So, somebody came here before us, took what we were after, and left us a note. But, specifically, addressed us as Dragonborn. And told us to go to an inn that we're familiar with and rent a room that we know doesn't exist, because we've been there before. So, Ettient is smart enough to know when there's a lot of cloak and dagger stuff going on. But having never been one to run from a mystery, there's no way he'd do anything but pursue this. Grand Soul Gem, that's excellent. Circlet of Witches. 17 points. Gains 17 points when a living victim dies, granting the Soul Burst power at 1,000 points. Oh, boy, now I need to know what Soul Burst is. Ebony War Axe of Wilting. And is that something I have? Take it. Staff of Nature's Balance. Equalizes the health percentages of the caster and a living or undead target. Ooh. Not something Ettient would use, but interesting nonetheless. We'll take that. We're encumbered. So, we're going to do something here, though. We're going to get our enchanting supplies right here. We're going to set up a little workstation here. And we're going to take a look at this battle axe. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a war axe of wilting. Sure. That will save us a lot of weight and give us a new enchantment and help us work towards enchanting levels. The circlet as well. And anything else? No. Very good. All right. There you have it. We know what the next stage of our mission is, ladies and gentlemen. We have to make our way to the Sleeping Giant in Riverwood, which is going to take us right back the direction we just came from, but that's okay. Well, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your interest in what I am doing here at Couch Warrior TV. I appreciate your support. Special thank you to all of you who have been supporting me on Patreon. And just want to let you all know that Couch Warrior TV and Character Crusade podcast now have a Discord server. You can find our Discord server at discord.charactercrusade.com. Get in there, join in the conversation. If you support Couch Warrior TV and Character Crusade podcast on Patreon, you can also get some rewards in the Discord server. So giving at the $1 a month level gives you access to advanced text chatting features such as broadcast messaging to those who are part of the group, uploading of files and images, being able to paste in URLs, stuff like that. If you contribute at the $5 a month level, we're starting a new series on Discord for voice chat. We've set up a new voice channel, and we'll be having some special events where instead of sitting back and just listening to me talk to you, you'll be able to engage in some events where we'll all be able to converse with each other verbally as opposed to chat. That is automatically available to Power patrons. So if you are giving at $5 a month or more, you qualify as a Power patron and will have access to all of those tools, and will get information from the Patreon communication system about any events that we have going on. There are going to be some character development workshops, possibly some book club and movie club kinds of discussions, Q&As, things like that that'll be happening on Discord for those groups. The schedule is to be announced. So thank you all so much for your support, and I will see you next time.